Our other panelist, Samantha. Samantha is with the City of Phoenix. So Samantha, the floor is yours.
All right. Thank you, Kyle. You guys are going to hear many similarities of our program with Sarah's because there's so much crossover, especially with the benefits that these type of cards have and these programs have with families. So as Kyle mentioned before, I'm here at the City of Phoenix. We are a large municipality of 1.5 million people. And as part of the American Rescue Plan Act, our city council said, we need to do a program that's direct cash assistance. And so it was through their charge that we created our program. And it was massive. I worked very closely with Kyle and his team. And because we had to do a quick turnaround, and because I am a team of one and I was tasked with this role, we did a partnership with a local nonprofit, the Partnership for Economic Innovation. They are the ones that helped the City of Phoenix institute our program. And so, as I said, similar to Sarah's program, ours, we had $12 million. And what we did was we chose 1,000 families, and they received a payment of $1,000 per month for 12 months. You'll see the amounts of fund dispersed is off by 3,000 because we actually had someone leave the program early, and so we did not use those funds. So that's the only reason why that looks a little different. The way that families were chosen, there was specific criteria that they had to have, and we use what we call categorical eligibility. So we did not have to have people do a lengthy application for it. We were in the midst, if you remember, in 2021 with the ARPA funding and then also emergency rental assistance funding. So to get the funding out quicker, we had people who were eligible for that funding and part of our public housing. That's the group of folks that were thrown into a lottery, about like 12,000 families, and only 1,000 were chosen. So people felt incredibly excited to be in the program and grateful, because also at this time, at the end of 2021, if you guys remember, the extension of the child tax credit benefit was going off the cliff. So when they started in January of 22, this was a godsend to many of our participants. So that was just incredible timing. That just happened. We didn't create that one. And so why was this so important? Though we are a large city in the United States, it was very unfortunate that we had to say we were going to try to cut checks for folks to do this program. So if we didn't have Usio, we were going to have to cut 1,000 checks per month. And it is a very lengthy process. If any of you that are watching are also part of government agencies. And I also did not want to deal with my finance department in this because we were already having such big headaches when it came to emergency rental assistance and other government funded programs. The card was fantastic. Everyone knows how to use it. It was like we're seeing on the screen here, very easy to reload. But honestly, at the end of the day, we would not have been successful without the team at Usio, because we got a lot of assistance from their staff, their program manager with us that helped to get over some little hiccups that we had along the way. And also, of course, the partnership that we had with PEI, our nonprofit. So it made us be more successful in showing off this program, because we had hopes of extending it. Already diminished the hopes. We did not extend the program, unfortunately, as it was a one-time funding, but it really did invigorate the city. So if we were able to do it again in the future, we know what we can improve upon. And so I just wanted to highlight a few things about what really I think stood out for our program. And so if you're trying to do these programs in your communities, or even if it's not this program, just how do you get people set up on this and the ease of use with it? What we've learned from other cities too was it's not enough just to like send these participants the information. So what we know about the folks that we were working with was these were people that were very transient and that their addresses would change all the time. So that's why I loved Kyle touching upon it's not just a physical card, it could also be an electronic card or on their phone for ease of use. And so I knew that I could not send 1,000 cards out to people mailing it. I knew that was going to be very inefficient. And so what we did instead, Kyle and the group was able to help us to give me all the cards with PEI, because we held community-wide events. And I literally met with every single family to give them their card, because we needed to do a good handoff. We wanted people to understand, what does it mean to have this card? We had some stipulation in our program. Sarah, I wish we could have done like no merchant codes would be blocked. But unfortunately, our council wanted us to do it a certain way, which was fine. So no purchasing of like alcohol, cigarettes, cigars, a few other things, gambling. Um, and so having that hands-on experience made it so that our folks we hit more efficiencies with it. We did, of course, have the call center, which was fantastic that folks could call with their questions. But this ensured that our program was going to be more successful and more ease for the family. So should they have any questions on the spot, we help them log in to get registered and to be able to log in. And even if they wanted to stay longer, show them how to use the application, which you think is intuitive, but a lot of these folks weren't high with financial literacy. So it was another opportunity for us to just expand that knowledge with them and so that they could have that ease of use on their end. And so Usio was a big factor in making this very successful for us to give us resources to then pass on to the families. Additionally, with the merchant category codes, being able to block things off because depending on like who is constructing the policy for your program, having that ability, it helps out. And then also, of course, if you're only using specific ones to push through, and having those reports, the data. We are so data heavy now and throughout our societies, and this just made it easier to tell our story. Same thing with Sarah. People weren't spending this money on things that people were nervous about them spending this money on. The data proved our story, and so with the data and with these transformational stories that people were able to express to us, and we were able to record our program, we were able to say it was like 100% success rate, and that felt phenomenal. And then I just wanted to say on the closing services side, we had such ease with Usio and to be able to let folks know while this program is ending, here's other services with Akimbo that you can be a part of. And so that continuation was really great for those that were interested. It was all voluntary. And so we did not push that on anybody. And if we can go to the next slide, Kyle.
Yep.
All of this sounds great. Dollar signs, data, we all love that. But one of the things that we're most proud about here at the City of Phoenix with our program is that, so I also provided surveys to folks every quarter. So we had a really high return rate on our surveys, averaged about like 60% of our participants responded. I really think it's because of that warm handoff that I had with folks is why they responded to our surveys. But additionally, I knew that the telling of the story part was going to be more important. So just like how we had the story of that gentleman, of how he used his card in Sarah's example, I wanted to find a way to capture those stories so that we can tell our council and our community we were good stewards with this COVID-19 relief funding, and here's how it impacted our families. And so we did an in-person in October of 22, what I called focus groups. So I had just about 30 families come on site to one of our community centers. They were able to, like you see right here, they were able to bring their children and just tell us what this money really meant to them and their families. We heard countless stories of the less anxiety, less stress in their lives, of course, but also it just paved the way for them to continue to keep their full-time employment, keep their roof over their head, pay off their utilities. And so if you're interested, I don't know if these slides are going to be shared, but we can totally get out. There's a link here to this video testimonial that we did. And then here you'll just see like a mother of two boys just being able to provide for them and have how much it feels empowering to be able to give more to your family during this incredibly stressful moment in 2022. People were just extremely thankful and understanding that even for like one of these other testimonials, working full time still was not enough for some of these families, and that them having this money in addition to food assistance just meant so much. And so hope you guys are able to check this out because it really is powerful being able to hear from the folks having this money. So to me, it's always been more than just a card. You're really impacting folks' lives with these type of services.
Well, Sam, thank you so much for that, and couldn't agree more. This will be shared. So to your point, the video testimonial link, this was just a small sample set. I think you sent a bunch more quotes, so we were just able to pull this together for that. And then to Sarah's point, with the 4CT program, with the city of the Elm City New Haven resident ID card, I had a chance to fly up and meet some of those members and recipients, and sometimes just hearing the stories is so much more impactful, than the data or the program. And so I think that's a huge testament to obviously the work that everything that you did at the city, and I didn't know that you were just a team of one. I think I thought you had way more help than that. So massive
I had a lot of
kudos.
great volunteers that I made
Okay.
come my way for the program.
Yes. And you made the comment about like you were going to be sending checks out to people and doing that 1,000 times with the transit audience and doing that. So I really just think that speaks volume to, the card-based product and solution, and how this can help, many organizations. So thank you so much. There's a few more slides I want to go through, and again, we can open up to questions. I just want to be respectful of time. Looks like there's about 5 minutes left. Probably won't have enough time to go into the insights of the data with this. There's some different breakdowns that we have. Here's just a quick snapshot with the city. Probably what most of you see, 30% was on grocery stores, eating places, clothing stores, gas. So this is literally every transaction that was there. Again, this will be shared by the group. But I think a few things just in closing to go through is really these kind of strategies and tips and moving forward is really finding, identifying the issue. How do you solve for getting these cash disbursement programs out in the community, and really the flexibility that these different platforms and what we built here at Usio is able to support. The data I think is critical. Having the transparency-ness of how these funds are being done. I think, Sarah, to your point, there's an interview process, there's physical engagement and emotional engagement with all these. How do you intend to use these funds? There's a checks and balance system that is there. And so kind of getting back to that, alignment, and being, very mission driven with this. And also doing it in a very budget, friendly way. And so we really try to pride ourselves for being very easy to work with, from a partnership standpoint of view, being very, economical and mindful of that for partners, but also for the end user. And so, Sarah, Samantha, I think you mentioned this, and Sarah did too. The card platform that we provide and some of the training that you guys were able to allow them to receive. It's a web app that you can download. It's a mobile app that you can have. You can freeze your card if you lock it, or if you lose it. You can get a card reissued. You can see, balances at every moment. You can get a text message that say, hey, you just went to Walmart and spend this much money. Your current balance on your card is this. I think another benefit to that is you probably weren't getting calls every month and saying, hey, is my money here yet? Is my money here yet? Because if you sign up for those alerts, when you get your $500 or $1,000 or whatever, it's going to say, hey, you just received your, $500, your balance is now this. And so probably prevents a lot of calls, but really just is really, in your hands at all moments, really having an awareness of what you have access to with this card-based program. Here's just a couple quick slides. We can brand this whole experience for partners. So whether that's landing pages, whether that's individual cards that are being dispersed out there, so it can look and feel like your program. We have a lot of partners that go through that. Here's just a continuation of what that could look like. And then also we can brand the physical cards that are in the hands of individuals. These are, real examples of some partners that we work with. And so if that's something that is important, we have the ability to do that. And then I don't know if we're going to have time for questions since there's about 3 minutes left. I know Kim had mentioned in the opening remarks, if you have any questions, just send them in the chat. So Kim, I don't know, were there any questions that came through the chat? Kim, you still there?
Yeah, sorry about that. I was
Okay.
looking for the unmute button. No, I don't see any at this time.
Okay. So if there is any questions, here's all my direct contact information, email, mobile number. Feel free to message if there's any questions or anything that we would like to go into deeper, or how you can even get started with this type of program. So I'm going to stop sharing here. And just to close us out, I want to thank everybody for joining. Sarah, thank you so much for coming on and supporting us, and obviously the great work you guys are doing at 4CT. The amount of research that's being supported by your programs with Yale, I think that's extremely exciting for what these programs can do in the future. Samantha, I don't know if we said this earlier, but she's her third day back from paternity leave. And so you did fabulous. So thanks so much for joining with, all the newness that's coming on, and George, for telling the Mastercard story. And again, we couldn't love our partnership with Mastercard anymore, and know there's a lot of great, exciting things ahead. So
I appreciate
Tim,
that, Kyle.
yeah.
I just wanted to very quickly say that I'm so impressed by Samantha and Sarah, and kind of restores your faith in humanity. You guys are doing amazing things. So I'm just very proud to be part of this panel. And yeah, I was just blown away by what you guys have done with these programs. So thanks for allowing us to be a part of it.
Yeah. Well, again, we want to thank everybody for joining. And if there's questions that you have, maybe for George or Samantha or Sarah, we'll be sure to kind of pass those over if any of the audience has any questions for you guys about your programs. If that's okay, we'd love to maybe engage you with the participants that were with us today.
Hey, Kyle, if we have just a few minutes, and if anyone can stay on, you're welcome to. If you've got to go, we certainly understand. But we do have, we currently have 3 questions now in the chat.
All right.
Can you see those, Kyle?
They are in the Q&A section.
It's thinking.
Yeah, mine's running just a bit slow too.
Kyle, you may have tackled the first one, or the one from the longest ago. It was whether the Akimbo cards / the prepaid card platforms provide individual users with any tools to track their spending or organize it into different categories. I think you.
Yeah, and all that's there. Yeah.
Has
Yeah,
yours
thanks,
loaded
man.
yet, or shall I keep reading?
I haven't. Thank you. Yeah, it loaded. And so, yeah, I think that was from Tess maybe Johnson. So thanks for the question. Yes, there's a full dashboard that we can provide you with. Any members of the community-based organization would have access to that. We have a very permission-based process when we onboard and implement the programs. But anybody that is wanting or needing access to those the data research, we can definitely provide that. So the other question is around, being able to kind of bring folks into more the formal financial services system. And Samantha, I think you touched on this a little bit around some of the recipients, what happens post, this 12 months. And Sarah, we've talked about this too. As George mentioned in his opening remarks, we do have a general purpose reloadable program that does require individuals to go through kind of that KYC information. So it's name, address, date of birth, social, some form of identification. You'll have a direct deposit, a DDA assigned to that card. It's a multi-card platform. I actually use this personally for my kids and their allowances, but it does give the ability to have a direct deposit, so you can receive, either benefits from government assistance from your employer, loading cash onto the card. So it is a full card management system that does allow you to have, a formal banking relationship, paying bills, transferring funds within family members. So we could definitely send some more information there. And then I think the last question says, not sure. So for individuals, it looks like for individuals to track their spending as well, similar to what we have for the partner organizations. And yes, for individual, card holders, they can see all the access to their data, their transactions. It's not as formal as different charts and graphs that are there, but you can, really export any of that data and then use that for kind of your own personal management system. So a little bit more robust on the partner side, but definitely, all that data could be available to the end users as well. So I think that's all of our questions. Kim, back to you.
Yep, it looks like that's it. We would like to thank each and every one of you for participating, especially our panel. And just like George, Samantha and Sarah, your stories are amazing, and so glad to be a part of it. That wraps up this webinar. And again, everyone will receive the PowerPoint presentation and a recording. Thank you, and that's it. Have a great day.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you so much.
Take care. Thanks.
All right, bye now.